So we see in Parsha Vayera, all of a sudden Avraham has this whole thing with the wells that his servants dug, and it told us they'd all been stopped up by the Plishtim, and Yitzchak is digging wells, and his servants are digging wells, but it says by Yitzchak's well that he dug and he found Mayim Chaim. Mayim Chaim is the source water. So you really have two types of wells. One is a well that you basically dig a hole in the ground and then you fill it up with water. So let's say it's rainy season, so it fills up with rain, and then when you need it later, so you have this big source of water. But once you use up the water, there's nothing left. But a spring bore is where the source of water is continual and it doesn't run out. So the avoda of Avraham is he dug bores, but not like Yitzchak, is that he would like make a hole and give people water. So his meat is a chasnachas orchim, where he would bring guests in, give them food, and make them bless Hashem. Yitzchak's avoda was digging wells, where you dig until you find the water that's within, and create a natural spring within the person, and this water doesn't run out. So this is not through necessarily being nice to people and the idea of, here is some stuff, now you'll be happier to listen to me and be open to my way of life. It's look within yourself, look at who you are, tachacha, masur, improve yourself from within, find your own source of life. So Abraham's avoda really is Rusa de la Eila, where there's an awakening from above, where it's based on something. That Abraham had thousands of convertees, and he brought them all in from above. Not necessarily that they all were into it on a personal level, but they were going along for the ride. So therefore, once Abraham had stopped doing this, he was nifter, so then they all went away. So we see that his wells were stopped up, because once the source, the input, was not there anymore, so therefore they gave it all up. Because that was the meat of Avraham. The meat of Yitzchak is that even when the input is gone, the source still flows. So therefore his wells were not the wells that he dug, the Mayim Chaim, they didn't dry up, because even when he's gone, you can continue on because you found it yourself. So seemingly there's a midah of Yitzchak. So Yitzchak is really the emes, and it would seem maybe that Yitzchak was why was Avraham not doing this? Avraham should have been finding people's Mayim Chaim, because then when he would go, then people would continue. Jezela told us Avraham holed et Yitzchak. The Yitzchak is the Hamshacha, is the continuation of Avraham, and Avraham holed et Yitzchak. That Avraham really built the framework that allowed Yitzchak to exist, and that if you start off with MS, then the structure just destroys itself, and really just have war, where you have people fighting because there's I'm right and you're wrong, and then it doesn't work. So if you have example, you have a birthright trip and one bus, I was just shouting at everyone for eating treif, for breaking Shabbos. It's not gonna be long before no one's on the trip anymore. So you have another birthright trip, and they're all like, "Oh, I've got alcohol, I've got cakes, I've got tea and coffee. Why don't you come in? We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna go around Israel." And then, bless Hashem, and So through that trip, you might have a couple of people that after 2 weeks, they'll stay on, and then in a few years' time, they're bonkers from. That after this period of Rusa de la Eila, of where you get drawn in through the Chitzoni, that you need first the Chitzoni, you need to first like the Chitzoni. That once you develop that desire for something, so then you can handle the Panimi on a more emes level. And therefore, really, you have to go through Avraham to get to Yitzchak. You can't go straight to Yitzchak because there's no audience. No one's interested in what you have to say because you go straight into the Panimi, but I don't want the Chitzoni. It's like getting married to a woman and say, right, that's it, we're going to be great servants of God, but I don't really like this person. You have to first like the person before you marry them. It's a key point. But since Avraham loves the emes, even though he doesn't practice it on the same level as Yitzchak, he builds the structure, and therefore Yitzchak can be his Tolda, can be his Hamashacha. And therefore, as he is bringing up Yitzchak, so then Yitzchak can develop the emes, and therefore Avraham holidat Yitzchak. So you have the emes and the digging of the bore. You have to dig down to go through all the earth, and then when you get to the bottom, then you'll find your spring, and you'll find your constant source. But it has to come through. You have to start off with an Avraham. You have to start off with the Rusa de la Eila. You have to start off with the Chitzoni. You have to start off with the I like this.